Good evening and welcome to the Bellefleur Tire Shop Grand Falls Greenfoot Rapids post-game show. Another big win for the Grand Falls Rapids, 4-0. And most of the crowd has cleared out, but Grand Falls, how are we feeling after that win? Come on, I know you can do better than that. Let's try again. There you go. Says it all. This was a game that was from start to finish. Chippy, physical, ugly, you can call it what you want, but it was a win nonetheless, and it couldn't have come at a better time. Man, there's so much to break down in this game. We'll start off with the opening period, the first one. So, 7 minutes and 5 seconds in, Nathan Plemenon-Michaud finds the back of the net, his 8th goal of the season. Avignon Bourque and Jack Brown both assisting on that goal. Reed Calder would then take a cross-checking call right after that. Nothing would come from it, of course, on Picto's side. Then Derek Aslan would take a high-sticking call, and then Reed Calder this would be just before the end of the first period, would take a boarding call as well. Now, this one was one that if you haven't seen, you can go and watch back. I'm not going to play that clip on the show here, but it was one that was very, almost kind of scary for multiple different reasons, but it was definitely a hit it got real ugly real quick. That would force Pictou to go on the power play for 4 minutes. So Calder would go for a double minor. Then nothing would happen, no scoring in the second period, but there were a flurry of penalties. Ben Wallace goes off for boarding. Owen Arnold goes off for hooking, and then Will Allen gets a 10-minute misconduct. All 3 penalties consecutive back-to-back for Pictou. Derek Aslan would then go off for roughing, and Dominic McKenzie would go off for blow to the head, all before the period would end. Then comes the third. So 1 minute and 47 seconds in, Zachary Michaud with his 5th of the year. Nathan Plemenon-Michaud assisting on that goal. 7th assist of the season for him. And those two, there's something to be said. So you saw last year with Jonah Laird and Jeremy Dastou before he was traded to Edmundston. That was the dynamic duo. I think this season you've found your new dynamic duo, Plemenon-Michaud and Zachary Michaud. The Michaud to Michaud connection. That's what I'm unofficially going to be calling it. Well, you know what? That's a good point. We'll leave that in the comments. What would you call that line, that dynamic duo? What would you, if you had to give them a nickname, what would you call them? Leave it in the comments below, and maybe, just maybe, we'll get them a new nickname. So, Zachary Michaud and Nathan Plemenon-Michaud combined for that goal to make it 2-0. And at that point, I think a lot of people were sighing a big sigh of relief because you weren't sure up to that point what was going to happen, whether it was going to be a tie game or whether they were going to score another one. At that point, I mean, it was getting so physical and so chippy that you never really realized what was going to happen. So they ended up getting the goal, which was a good sign. Not 4 minutes later, Mathieu Cyr tips it off of Nathan Plemenon-Michaud for his 2nd point of the game and Cyr's 1st point of the game. Third point of the game for Plemenon-Michaud and Cyr's 1st goal of the game. Then the penalties would ensue in the 3rd period. Campbell Barrett, 10-minute misconduct. Mac Wallace for tripping. Reed Calder gets a 10-minute misconduct. Ben Wallace goes off for roughing. Kingsley Austin goes off for charging. And Patrick Baxter goes off for roughing. So when Ben Wallace took the... Mac Wallace took the tripping call at the 12:41 mark. Nathan Plemenon-Michaud buries this puck. Oliver Plum with a beautiful pass, and Zachary Michaud once again on the board. The Rapids make it 4-0 in the 3rd. Man, this felt like a big victory game, and it indeed was. The Rapids now are sitting 1 point out of first place in the Eastlink North Division, and moreover, 1 point out, sitting first place overall in the league. This Rapids team is 9-3-1 on the season. They've got a big test coming up on Friday against Chaleur. They hit the road. That's going to be a game to watch for sure. Then they come back and they face off against the Miramichi Timberwolves. Overall impressions of this game. The power play struck, not as often as you would like, of course, you'd hope, but they played a real good game. They made the most of the opportunities that they were given. There was a lot of penalties going back and forth, both from the Rapids side and the Crushers side. But at the end of the day, it's those plays that did not really affect the outcome of the game. I talked about how Pictou County, they had a real low penalty kill percentage in the series, or during the season, excuse me. And the Rapids were leading the division in power play percentage. Special teams were not really a huge factor in this game. It was 5-on-5. The Rapids, I thought, did a great job at shutting down Pictou's offense and did an even better job at pushing for their own offense and making sure that those pucks hit the back of the net. Adam LaCour, what do I even say? Got the shutout. 26 saves. When he gets dialed in, there's something special about how he performs, because you can tell that his heart's in it, his head's in it, he's in that zone, and you can really just see every time that he gets dialed in or he gets hot. You just know. And if you're around him enough, you realize that doesn't matter what point of the game it's at. Once he's locked in, it's going to be real hard to break that. Tonight, that's exactly what he did. Adam LaCour with a 26 save shutout. The Rapids win 4-0. They're on to Chaleur Friday. Does not get much better than that. With that said, I'll give you a little bit of a preview as well as to what that matchup has. So, like I mentioned, now they're only 1 point behind each other in the standings. With the Rapids winning today, they're at 19 points on the season, 9-3-1. Chaleur 10-3 on the season. So they haven't lost in overtime or a shootout yet, hoping it doesn't get to that point. 7-3 in their last 10. It's not going to be an easy task, but you give them the opportunities that you've given them like they did today, it's going to be a hell of a game. And nonetheless, Chaleur is going to be a tough team, right? And we've already seen that. Zach Rushton leading the way, of course, for them in scoring. But any line, any team can be shut down if you play good enough defense. And that's exactly what they did here tonight. If they do that on Friday, they are 100% going to win the game. Now, with that being said, another thing to keep in mind, too, with today's win, in the 2025-26 season, the Grand Falls Greenfoot Rapids are still undefeated on home ice. You heard me right. I'm going to repeat that again to let that sink in. The Grand Falls Greenfoot Rapids are still undefeated on home ice. Have not lost the game on home ice all season long. That's a huge achievement. And with how exciting this team is, I hope they don't slow down anytime soon. That being said, I'm going to wrap it up. There you go. So things are really looking up for the Grand Falls Greenfoot Rapids, still undefeated on home ice. Look to get another 4 points next weekend. They go to Bathurst to face off against the Chaleur Lightning, come home, face off against the Miramichi Timberwolves, and hopefully by Sunday's post-game show, we'll have a lot more to talk about when the Rapids look to take over first place in the Eastlink North Division and first place overall in the league. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, hit the little bell notification for all future content, and stay tuned to the channel. There's going to be a lot of exciting stuff coming, and I cannot wait to share what it is with you all.